Kia ora, good evening. A 3-week-old baby girl remains in a critical condition in an induced coma at Starship Hospital, having suffered life-threatening injuries in an incident in Invercargill yesterday. Police have launched a criminal investigation into the incident at a Princes Street house. Emergency services were called at 5:30 a.m. following the incident. Police won't comment on the nature or cause of the baby's injuries. A scene examination began today and 15 police staff are working on the investigation into the incident. Inquiries include interviews with the child's parents who were home at the time. Police say they are not seeking anyone else in relation to the incident. State Highway 96 between Winton and Mataura was closed for several hours this afternoon following a logging truck crash. A logging truck and trailer failed to take a moderate right-hand bend on the outskirts of Winton at around 12:40 p.m. The trailer unit rolled over, causing the truck to tip, coming to rest in a paddock. Emergency services were called to the incident, but the driver, a middle-aged man, was not injured, and police say no other vehicles were involved. A detour was set up to enable a crane to right the truck. Investigations into the cause are continuing. A $700,000 redevelopment of the Invercargill skate park has gone out for tender. The skate park opened in 1998 and in early 2009 Invercargill City Council was approached by a group of young people keen to develop it. Funding for the project has been set at $700,000 to finalise the design and rebuild on the current site on Ellis Road. The project will involve demolition of the existing skate park, finalising the design and construction of a new skate park. Community Development Manager Mary Napper says it's unclear when work could begin.
Well, the tenders will close on October the 11th, and then clearly we have to assess the tenders, and then it will be a case of negotiating with the successful contractor to do the design, finish the design work, and then it will be dependent on the weather, of course. We can't lay concrete if it's raining.
So any idea as to when it may actually open for use then?
Well, I hope that if we stand here this time next year, it will be open and in use. But as I say, we just don't know until we've done negotiations with the contractor. We won't know.
Now, how much is council contributing to this project?
$300,000, and part of that is a loan.
Now, in terms of the young people, there had been previously an expectation that they would also fundraise to help with the build of it. Is that still the case?
Certainly. They've been fundraising for over 2 years. They've been holding sausage sizzles, all sorts of things, mufti days, all kinds of things in their schools and in their communities.
Now, there had been a legal dispute around the actual skate park and the concept that had been put forward. Has that now been resolved?
We believe so.
Preparations for the first Southern Wild Food Festival have progressed, with organisers launching the festival logo, website and Facebook page today. The appointment of a marketing manager also announced today, along with funding from the Invercargill City Council for $30,000 and Venture Southland for $15,000. Unusual foods already touted include swede and eel, toaroa and chocolate spiders. The festival's being organised by the Rotary Club of Invercargill, who are partnering with A to B Ocean Race organisers to coincide both events in February. Festival organisers say they're not reliant on the A to B yacht race going ahead and say the festival will stand on its own.
Not at all, really, I wouldn't have thought. We're just partnering with them because we'd like to create the festival atmosphere for the city. We're really hoping that that event does go ahead because we do believe that the two will complement one another. But our event stands alone outside of the A to B yacht race.
So in terms of partnering with them, can you go a little bit further into how that will work?
Oh, we've planned, they have events spanning that whole week, I guess, down in Bluff that they've been planning with the community down there. However, they've left the Saturday available for us to do our Wild Food Festival because they were going to do something similar on the Saturday, but it saves them providing such a service, and they're really supportive of what we're doing. They're looking at putting on buses between Bluff and our event so that people that are there for the yacht race can get up and be part of the Wild Food Festival as well. So,
what type of marketing campaigns do you have planned for this?
Oh, well, we've got numerous campaigns. Alison's got quite a timeline of events, of things that she wants to roll out, but we've got Facebook available. We're going to have radio ad campaigns and so on, and print media as well. So we'll be promoting the event and competitions leading up to the event as well, to get people engaged and get some enthusiasm for our event. So, yeah.
And what kind of marketing budget do you have for that, and how far afield are you going to be taking it?
We're still pulling that marketing budget together, and we're just seeking proposals from some of the main media sources. So at this stage we're waiting to review those, and then we'll be able to comment further on that.
Stay with us after the break, why Kiwis are being offered some free advice this week. Welcome back. Superannuitants and veteran pensioners who live alone will have better support with changes to the living alone payment. The new rates will help offset household costs that can no longer be shared. The new living alone payment applies to superannuitants or veteran pensioners who have lost a spouse or partner and now live alone. It replaces the current New Zealand superannuation and veterans pension with a new single living alone rate and a single sharing accommodation rate. Other changes include electronic processing to make it easier to get the living alone payment rate should circumstances change. Southland Grey Power President Jeff Pearcey says the organisation has fought for years for the change.
It's a huge problem when people suddenly lose a spouse, and they may have, some people, in parts of New Zealand may have a mortgage, and certainly, when you've got two to share the rates and so forth, and then it's suddenly down to one, it's a huge imposition. So it's certainly good news as far as we're concerned.
Do you think that the sharing accommodation, single sharing accommodation rate is going to be enough on a national scale? The cost of living here is much cheaper than it would be in Auckland, as an example. Is it taken into account that it's enough across the board?
No, the same rules apply, but there's no doubt about it that even the rates rebate scheme and all those sort of things are completely different here. They're quite good here, but in Auckland, where your rates are probably 3 or 4 times more than in Invercargill, there's not a lot of depth really in the even in the superannuation. The superannuation gives you enough to live on, basically. But if you have any, repairs, roof repairs, anything like that, car repairs, a lot of people find it there's genuine hardship with it, and particularly people who had been left in that situation. Yeah, so it's certainly a help. But superannuation, of course, lags about 18 months behind the cost of living, because the cost of living adjustment is made every year, but it's always made in retrospect, so that any increases that come in don't get caught up with for about 18 months. So these things are all should be actually adjusted, in my view, about every 6 months.
The SPCA Animal Ark build at Woodend in Invercargill is well underway and on target for a December opening. External windows and doors are now in place, and internal cables are being run for communications and electrics. 99 solar panels are being installed on the roof, which will power the Animal Ark, with excess power being sold back to the grid, offering a future revenue stream. The new Ark features underfloor heating and will be much more spacious, providing animals with a cleaner, healthier and warmer environment. Around $45,000 in funding is still needed for the driveway. This week is Money Week, an initiative by the Commission for Financial Literacy and Retirement Income. Now in its second year, the aim is to improve people's financial literacy, something financial advisor Stephen O'Connor says is important.
Well, I think it goes back to the fact that the financial education is not included in the school curriculum. So therefore, Kiwis tend to learn their money habits from basically their parents. If their parents are good savers, then consequently they may or may not turn out to be good savers, but they've probably got a better chance. So Money Week, I think, is about, as I said, raising awareness of money matters for people. And there's a number of initiatives around the country. A lot of organisations are running seminars or free seminars and other activities to try and help people whether it be around managing their debt or saving for retirement through KiwiSaver, or perhaps whether they've got the right insurances in place where they need that, and just things like that.
So where do you think most Kiwis go wrong?
I think, Sarah, right at the beginning is the fact that most Kiwis don't have a plan, and the saying is that if you fail to plan, then you'll plan to fail. So just having a basic plan, even if it's just a straightforward budget, which income and expenditure, so that you do have a surplus for those that do have disposable income, and make good use of that, either by paying down debt or putting the money aside for a rainy day, whether it be a holiday or even longer term savings like retirement, where Kiwis these days are using KiwiSaver, which is a great initiative brought in 6 years ago now, and that's proving a really great initiative for people to save for the long term, and also it's being quite useful these days in terms of people acquiring first homes as well.
Now, this week the Institute of Financial Advisors is actually giving free advice to people. Can you tell me what's happening around that?
Yes, well, the Institute of Financial Advisors, which is the organisation that represents about 900 to 1,000 professional financial advisors across New Zealand, is taking part in the Money Week concept by offering pro bono advice to New Zealand, the New Zealand public. So they will offer 1 hour's free advice, and Kiwis can access that by phoning an 0800 number, which is 40 44 22, and from there they'll be put in contact with a member of the Institute in their area who's has the right skills and to give the advice that they're looking for.
The staff at Invercargill's Rowena Jackson Retirement Village were putting their health to the test today. A well-staffed day saw staff undertake a variety of health checks and activities, including Zumba, back care exercises and fitness tests. Village manager Trudy Shepherd says the event has been held annually for around 6 years, with the idea of doing something for staff while promoting good health. Around 2/3 of the 170 staff take part in the event, with this year's focus on back care and being safe. The event started at 6 a.m, running until 8 p.m. this evening, allowing for staff on all shifts to take part. And that's it from news. Coming up in sport, Otago's short-lived possession of the Ranfurly Shield comes to an end. From the news team, good night.